Hey, welcome in everybody. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Tarot and Astro Insights, and we're going to talk about these energies because I came into a massive download after the full moon in Aries, and while I'm recording this, the moon is now currently transiting through Taurus. This weekend it's going to be moving through Gemini, and I want to talk about this message that came through for the collective. So please feel free to hit that subscribe button, like the video, comment on the video, share the video, especially if you're resonating with the message. And I just want to remind you, just take what does resonate and leave behind the rest, because this is a general collective energy reading. This is not sign specific. I do call out zodiac signs throughout the reading. Keep that in mind. But let's talk about these significant energies that came through when I was channeling the astrology and when I came into this download. So first off, I was sitting in this very prominent energy of the Tower and the Hermit. And so I know that full moon in Aries came in and the energies were explosive. They were intense. And it might have brought in a tower. Depending on what's going on in your personal life, this tower is going to be different for everybody. And then the energy carried me through into the Page of Cups with the Ten of Wands. And so with the moon in Taurus, sextile Mars, this is bringing forward a little bit of a disillusioned energy. I felt a lot of fiery energy connected with that transit taking place this weekend. We also are going to have the moon in Taurus conjunct Uranus playing out, sextile Neptune, and trine Pluto at 29 degrees. And then the moon is going to shift into Gemini, and it's going to be squaring it up with Saturn in Pisces. And this was a very prominent energy of the Death card and the Devil. And so right now there's a deep inner knowing about something, and that's going to be, like I said, different for each and every one of you. But let's talk about this Hermit energy with the Tower, because I feel this is a very important message for the collective, suggesting that it is important when it comes to how you approach any of these changes that are coming forward. The Tower brings change. Change is imminent, especially with all of these cosmic transits taking place. And so how can you embrace all of these changes with a sense of spiritual courage? Because there is this newfound clarity coming forward, bringing forward a new sense of understanding. Maybe when it comes to a very confusing situation, because I was also shown the King of Wands with the Seven of Cups. And so there could be a little bit of anger here, sacred rage, when it comes to this disillusioned energy. And so when the truth comes out, we are disillusioned, and it can put us into these states of cognitive dissonance when it comes to deeply rooted beliefs and patterns. And so there really is this deep need, I feel, to get honest with yourself, to get honest with others. I'm a huge fan of honesty is the best policy, because honesty does ensure a very positive outcome. And so it's also important, the Hermit energy, to take some time away. So if you've recently had a blow up or an exposure when it comes to a certain situation, you do need to ground yourself. The Hermit is all about grounding yourself, re-identifying with yourself, and gaining that personal insight, right? The Hermit goes within. And so you are encouraged, I feel, to look within, to seek that new higher spiritual understanding right now, because clarity needs to be faced when it comes to this a very disruptive power that I feel this Tower energy brought in with that full moon. And it was a super moon. It was the brightest moon, the last super full moon of the year, and it was called the Hunter's Moon. And so I do feel the energy is signifying here something deep inside that needs to be accepted when it comes to a truth that has been denied. And ultimately, this truth is going to allow a certain situation in your life to be transformed so you can begin to make those desired changes. And so there are difficult times within the collective. My inbox has been blowing up. And so I know the energies are difficult, especially for those with prominent cardinal placements. And so the energy that was brought forth with that full moon in Aries, I feel, is bringing forward a very demanding energy when it comes to being willing to open up to this truth or explore a new depth within yourself. Aries is the sign of self. It's the first sign of the zodiac. And so the Hermit energy provides us with inner wisdom and inner guidance. And it allows us to rediscover and re-identify with ourselves and our true power when it comes to our purpose and even our identity, right? Because of the moon in Aries conjunct Chiron, there was a lot of self-identity wounding coming up to be understood, addressed, and transmuted. And so the Hermit is always representative of a deep internal journey. It's an inward journey. It's a search for that personal truth. The Hermit energy, along with the High Priestess, is the energy of the seeker. And so we are going into the Pisces North Node very soon and the Virgo South Node. And so this is all about spiritual illumination, personal truth. And so we are entering a time period of deep inner self-reflection, inner exploration, so we can gain that insight of what our true heart desires when it comes to our path and our purpose moving forward. And so this really is not a time for seeking outwardly. It's a time of reconnecting with yourself, with your inner world, and re-evaluating your feelings and your motivations. And so take the time this weekend to really look within, because that Page of Cups energy with the Ten of Wands is saying, hey, there's a very significant burden here connected to some type of childhood wound. The Page of Cups, all pages kind of represent children. The Page of Cups is emotions, right? Cups are emotions. It's water. And so there is some type of significant childhood wound or burden that very well could be blocking your creativity and your intuition. And so the energies are getting intense. Mars has slowed down. Mars in Cancer, it's going to dip into Leo, and then it's going to go retrograde, and it's going to go back into Cancer. And so pay attention to where Cancer placements are connected to your housing. So for me, with Jupiter retrograde sitting in my 4th house, and with Mars in Cancer going retrograde affecting my 5th house of creativity, everything for me feels like it's slowing down. And if you've noticed, I'm not providing daily content when it comes to daily messages, because I'm letting my intuition guide me on this one. And so also the Ten of Wands is a huge indicator of a heavy load, carrying a heavy load, carrying a heavy burden. And so tap into your intuition to discover the way forward. So maybe you're feeling a bit overwhelmed. I know I've been feeling that overwhelming energy when it comes to maybe stretching myself a little bit too thin, because I am busy between the astrology mentorship, readings for clients, and homeschooling my little one, along with filling my own cup. And so when we stretch ourselves too thin, it becomes an overburdened energy, and it can create all kinds of triggers. And so if you feel like you're trying to juggle too many things at once, it will lead to stress, it will lead to exhaustion, and it will lead to a whole slew of negative emotions that are going to be triggered to the surface. And so the Page of Cups, I feel, is a huge indicator of, hey, maybe this is the sign that you need to understand that we all need to kind of take a break, right? And it is all about looking for a creative outlook when it comes to balancing out burdens from childhood and burdens that you're currently going through in your present life. Creative outlets for me really is what allows me to get back into the flow. And so this is also, I feel, an energy reminding us all to be open. We have to be open when it comes to new forms of love, and love comes in many forms. It could also be just a sign of volunteering, stepping into your purpose. When we give, we usually get back. And so this is a huge sign of altruism. And so although it might feel like you've got a lot on your plate, it is also a reminder of self-love and kindness to others, because kindness really does go a long way. And so the energy, I feel, really is speaking of needing to find that balance between taking on too much, that heavy load, that heavy burden, and allowing yourself to love and be loved. And so I do feel there's a very difficult balance here that is needing to be striked. And sometimes it can be very difficult to know when we're taking on too much, right? But you'll feel it. You'll feel the burden kind of rising, right? And it will trigger probably a feeling of overwhelming anger. And so I want to remind everybody too, anger is just another form of grief, unresolved grief. And so sometimes when we get overwhelmed by the demands of life, and we're juggling too many multiple responsibilities at once, we need to be consciously aware of this. The 10 of Wands is a conscious awareness, right? To be consciously aware of how much pressure you put on yourself, maybe how much pressure you put on others, especially when it comes to commitments. But right now, the energy I feel is saying devote your energy to filling your own cup this weekend, okay? So this is always going to be a reminder, I feel, with the 10 of Wands to open up to receiving, right? When we carry all of the burdens of the world on our shoulders, we're not open to receiving that help from others. And so do not let fear prevent you as well from seeking meaningful spiritual connections. And it doesn't always have to be romantic. We can have deep, meaningful spiritual connections with friends, with family, with coworkers. And so practice self-care in these energies, because I do feel we are exploring some deep, dark truths when it comes to this energy of the Death card and the Devil. So the Death card is saying something here needs to be transformed. Something here needs to die away. And the Devil card is a need to recognize unhealthy patterns, unhealthy relationships, and addictions. And so the presence of those two energies coming through in my channeling was really suggesting that there needs to be a significant, prominent transformation of change here. And so it is necessary on the awakening path and on the spiritual path for all of us to break free from these negative patterns. And I talked about that in depth going into the Pluto and Capricorn energy and the reptilian brain and the activation of these deeply rooted patterns in the full moon in Aries reading. So go check it out if you didn't watch it. We're still kind of clearing those energies. Full moon energies can last for up to 2 weeks leading into the new moon. And the next new moon is going to be in Scorpio. And so this really is the time to bring all of these unhealthy relationships to an end. And I say relationships because addictions, it's a relationship with something unhealthy, whether it's a drug addiction, an alcohol addiction, or an addiction to a person, right? Or materialism or greed. And so there's this energy very prominently coming forward, signifying a very old, unhealthy relationship needs to be released. And so in order for this new beginning and this new cycle to come forward as part of this rebirth, the old does have to die away. And so this is the end of unhealthy love. This is the end of karmic situationships. This is the energy coming through for the collective. And so there is like a warning being added, though, to the energy saying, hey, if you are dealing with addictions or obsessions, this really is preventing you from moving towards this new timeline. And so all unhealthy patterns can also be connected to envy, greed, and materialism. And so I do feel this is the time where we are being called to let go of all of these negative, draining emotions connected to codependencies within relationships, and especially connected to unhealthy power and control dynamics. And so this is also connected to the completion of Pluto and Capricorn. So we got about another month or so before Pluto goes back into Aquarius at that analytical God point of the 0 degree. And so we have a beautiful opportunity right now to finally complete a long-standing cycle connected to Pluto and Capricorn over the last 15 years. And so it really is time. It really is time to really start taking care of yourself, right? The journey ultimately is about self. And so if you're busy projecting or looking at everything else around you, flip that mirror back onto yourself, because we are here to recognize our true worth, our true value, and we can't fully receive the kind of love that we truly desire until we step fully into that worth. And so this really is a time to take those first steps towards this very profound spiritual transformation. But in order to do that, we have to release fear, and we definitely have to release these limiting beliefs that keep us stuck in the past. And so right now, we have a golden opportunity to create a new path, but it's going to require us all to make these big changes so we can lead a happier, healthier, more fulfilling life. So let's jump in with some cards, okay? Let's see what needs to come through with the cards. Okay, we are going to jump in today with the past life energy oracle cards because of the patterns coming up in the channeling. So let's get at it and let's see what needs to come through with the oracle cards. And so the oracle cards usually set the tone for the reading. So keep in mind, guys, tarot oracle cards, it's all about empowerment. It's all about bringing forward a new perspective. I'm not here to tell you what to do. The cards aren't here to tell you what to do. So take this reading and all readings as a sign to step into your worth, step into your value, and to start creating the life that you really want to live here. So we get the energetic realm on the cut with the leadership card. And so there's that 29 degree. And so Capricorn is a cardinal sign. And so we are in the final stages of tapping into our personal authority. And so maybe you've been called into leadership, but in order to be a leader for others, you have to show that you can take the lead in your own life. And so we are in between energetic realms. The energetic realm card is a 44 card. And so there is an underlying Four of Cups energy. And so the Four of Cups is soul suppression, right? The Four of Cups is saying, drink from the cup, fill your own cup. There is a need to address third parties and third party energy, people, places, and things. It can be anything that prevents you from fully committing to yourself, fully committing to love within a relationship with another. And so the energetic realm card is speaking of life between lives. And so we have all lived many, many lives. And so there's something about an activation of remembrance when it comes to some past life memories, some past life patterns. I cut it again and we get the 22 card. And so this is about healing parent-child unhealthy dynamics. There is an inner child wound here, I think, that needs to come forward. You might want to have a conversation with your mother or your father. But family ancestral karma is definitely coming up, and that's interesting. Are we going into voting season? I don't live in the U.S. I'm from Canada, but I know there's an election coming up, I feel, for both Canadians and Americans. And so it says vote today. Vote today. All right, let's get a few of these cards out, and let's see what else needs to come through. So hopefully this reading can nudge you in the right direction. So what do we need to know when it comes to this past life energy coming through for the collective? Let's cut the deck and let's get a few of these cards out. What are we up against this weekend? Servitude. And so if you feel like you're in a situation where there's a loss of power or a loss of control, bring it back to service. I do feel a Page of Wands energy. And so ultimately we are here to live a life of service. Service to others, service to God, service to a higher power. And then we get Archangel Raphael. And so he is the archangel connected to healing, connected to heart healing. It's a 19 card. And so there is a level of karmic debt being cleared, I feel. Karmic debt connected to disillusionment or dissolving of the lower mind, the lower ego. We all have an ego. We need it to get up out of bed every day. But it's operating out of the higher conscious state of the ego and no longer, reacting from the patterns from the past. And so Archangel Raphael is saying there is love coming forward, there is healing coming forward, and there is miracles abound, especially connected to wealth. And so for some reason, they're showing me the 10 of Pentacles. And so we are transitioning what abundance really means. And so there is a certain level, I feel, of materialism when it comes to entitlement. And so we are at this collective divine why. We are at the pivot point. We are at the crossroads. And on the bottom of the deck, we get a 9 card, and there's that Hermit energy with Archangel Michael. And so Archangel Michael is the archangel that works with the Twin Flame Collective, and Archangel Michael holds that sword of truth, the sword that severs, and the sword that allows you to find your strength and your courage to let something go. And so right now, this is a major process of protecting yourself, re-identifying with yourself, and allowing the truth to bring forward this clarity so you can let go of an old way of being. And so there could be remembrance of past lives, of maybe where you felt entitled, maybe where you abused your authority against others. But I really would like to read into the Archangel Michael card, because I do feel that's going to be a significant message connected to letting something go. Oh, and there's the Tower energy below that. And so with all losses do come newfound revelations. And so there might be a reversal of fortune here. So if you've been struggling financially, or if you felt like maybe wealth was taken from you or something was stolen from you, there's a reversal of the scales here. And so all losses do lead to profound changes. And so sometimes what is a loss is actually a blessing in disguise. And so this is about getting your mind right when it comes to thinking and being resourceful. So let's read the Archangel Michael card, because I do feel when it comes to this karmic shift playing out, Archangel Michael is helping you clear all of these old unwanted karmic attachments. And so Archangel Michael is what's going to give you strength. So pray to Archangel Michael. I know on my community tab, I posted a prayer to Archangel Michael a few days ago. So if you're struggling with a dramatic situation or letting something go, go and read that Archangel Michael prayer. Say it out loud as many times as you need to, because the energy really is demanding that you honor yourself. So if you're receiving unfair treatment from another, consider the issue and the people that you're dealing with at hand. Do you even have it in you to fight another battle? And so life shouldn't be a battle. If you're in a relationship and it's a constant fight or a constant battle, maybe it's time to investigate your options to reaching some type of resolution. I do feel there could be a toxic pattern here or an attachment here that needs to be released. So you can always visualize Archangel Michael cutting those cords with his sword. So know that you do have the power to free yourself from the past, but you do have to take action to letting something go. And it might mean a major loss. It might lead you to a major loss, but I think Archangel Michael is calling that inner warrior out. And so there is a battle here. It could be a personal battle. It could be a battle of wits, but you need to stand firm in your resolve. And you have to trust that you have the right coded consciousness within you to go forward in your life, in your path. And so if you feel cornered in a certain conflict with somebody, then bring that energy of courage forward, because you don't need to attack somebody back. I do feel this is all about finding the strength to take a leap of faith and to let go of an unhealthy, unwanted person, attachment, whatever it is, whether it be a specific person, could be a work situation, it could be a group of friends, or it could just be a negative personal habit. But right now, this is about taking an honest look at your life, an honest look at yourself, and where have you been giving your power away? Where have you been leaking your power? Because if you are being called to move on from something or someone, trust that there is something or someone more worthy of you and your time after you let this go. So let's go into it with the tarot. Let's see what other messages need to come through with the Angel Wisdom Tarot today. I'm drawn to this deck today, and let's get at it. So look at that, bottom of the deck, and on the cut, we get the 7 of Coins and the Wish Granted card. And so get ready to plant a seed. We're coming into that Scorpio new moon. New moons are all about planting seeds. But if you're stuck in a situation and your efforts aren't yielding any rewards, then maybe it's time to clear up something from the past. I do feel the 7 of Pentacles is saying it's time to plant a seed. The 7 of Pentacles can also mean a little bit of stuckness. But this really can be a magical time if you put in the work and the effort and you have the patience to go after wish fulfillment. So this is really saying have faith in the universe. Sometimes the Tower comes in and it's a blessing in disguise, but there's still a little bit of confusion. And so if you're on the fence about wish fulfillment, if you've been asking the universe for something, but you've been procrastinating or overanalyzing, you have to get clear on what it is that you desire, because if you are wishy-washy, the universe can't bring forward wish fulfillment. If there's an addiction here keeping you in a state of confusion, it could be connected to an unhealthy partnership, and partnerships come in many forms. So let's get 9 cards out. Let's see what else needs to come through. If you'd like to go further with me with a personal reading, please feel free to check out the links below. for my webpage. They will be in the description and also in the comment section. I'd also like to quickly mention I go live every Thursday at noon from the membership side of the channel. So if you would like to become a channel member, go check it out. For less than a cup of coffee a month, you can become a channel member, and we can dig into all 12 zodiac signs once a week every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And there's also a one-on-one astrology mentorship that I am offering. So if you'd like one-on-one astrology mentorship to master your birth chart or to learn how to read other charts, hit me up. It's a perfect opportunity for a one-on-one class with me to go in depth into astrology. So let's get at it and let's see what needs to come through. Knight of Cups in reversed, first card out, and the Nine of Cups. Interesting. Queen of Cups. We get the renewal in reverse, so the Judgment card in reversed. And we get the Dreamer. So the central energy is saying you need to take a leap of faith. So the Dreamer or the Fool, and there's Archangel Raphael right there, right there, is saying you got to push your fears aside to go towards love and healing. And so there's a blocked miracle here. We get the Queen of Wands in reversed. We get the Magician, Gemini, Virgo, Aries, Leo, Sag energy. We get the Eight of Wands in reversed. And we get that Seven of Pentacles is the last card out. So there is a stuckness here. And I do feel somebody here is all caught up in their emotions. And there could be a little bit of anger here. And bottom of the deck, we get this crossroads energy. And so there's a big decision here that needs to be made. And this is going to require a whole lot of honesty with self. And so we got quite a few queens out. And so there is a need to understand that we are not in control. The Queen of Wands in reversed, I feel, wants to be in control of something here. And you're not in control. But ultimately, what you don't see coming is an amazing opportunity once you continue to take those next steps forward. And so somebody here, I think, is looking at something that was supposed to be wish fulfillment. But ultimately, we got a feminine coming through. You could be a man representing these energies. I'm just reading the energies on the cards. But we have a Queen of Cups here combined with a Queen of Wands. So it could be a water sign with a fire moon placement. Doesn't have to be. But there's like, there's a lack of passion. And I do feel we've got a feminine here that has lost her power of control dealing with a master manipulator. And so this is saying no. This is not really your wish fulfillment. And so, yes, your wishes are coming true, but you have to have faith and you have to release control, because there's nothing that you can control other than yourself and your reactions and your emotions when it comes to relationships, right? We can't control another person. We can't make somebody love us. We cannot make somebody fall in love with us. And so I do feel this major lack of balance within a relationship. And that Aries full moon is saying you got to start to trust yourself. You really need to start to trust yourself, because I think there's a lot going on and there is a need to maybe block a situation here, because magic is starting to kind of become alive in your life. And so this is about planting a new seed. And so we are in a very fated time period, I feel. And there is a feminine here really needing to get honest about a very difficult situation that is a block to a new creative endeavor. And so I feel a feminine here that's being told it's time to take action. It's time to move the wheel forward. It's time to take your foot out of the wheel, get yourself unstuck. And so somebody here is in control of a delay. And so somebody here has delayed their own blessings, dealing with a very toxic, unhealthy pattern within a relationship, because I think maybe somebody held on thinking, no, this is my lover, this is my twin flame, this is my person. And so there is a need to understand that I think there is something very healthy here that has kind of drained somebody's health or their vitality. There could be depression, there could be illness here. And so yes, it is about making a choice from the heart, but don't make a choice out of the ego when it comes to controlling something. And so I just feel there's a need to move on from a poor choice. And sometimes we will hold on to something longer than we should because it's not easy to admit that we were wrong or that we made a mistake. And if we admit that we were wrong or we made a mistake, then it might be a little bit humiliating. But there is without a doubt a realignment going on here. There's that energy of maybe taking on too many jobs or working too hard or juggling too much. And so it's like somebody's walking a really fine line here. And I just feel like, yeah, there's a huge loss. There needs to be a loss before you can take that leap of faith and go towards something new here. And so recognize that maybe you're pouring into a situation and it's not pouring back into you. And so this queen here is like looking straight at what she wished to be her dream come true, and maybe coming into a realization of, hey, this person lacks balance. This person lacks honesty. This person, you know, probably came in, swept you off your feet, and turned out to be some type of smiling liar. And so there is a need to review a relationship here with a lot of compassion and a lot of forgiveness, and to find your strength and your courage to let go of a lie, to let go of an unwise choice. I do feel like there's like a 6 of Swords in reverse saying, no, I don't want to move on. This is my person. But I feel there's a lack of honest communication. There's this energy of questionable motives. And there's definitely a need to address third party. Okay, and so do you know your worth? Do you know your value? Because it's really time to go towards a new sense of creativity. And so the dragon, we are in the year of the dragon. You could have a dragon's head and tail in your chart. But I do feel there's a need to recognize, like, hey, maybe you've paid off your debt in this relationship, but it's time to make a choice from the heart. It's time to travel to a new location, a new energy. Let's clarify the dreamer, because this is a brand new beginning. This is where you're going, and this full moon energy is saying it's time to take a leap of faith. So what is the Fool about? What is the Dreamer about? This is about, it's time to take immediate action. The Knight of Wands is saying you need to take immediate action. There has been some type of an event likely that occurred recently, or is happening right now, or is about to happen. And you need to trust your gut instincts, and you need to take immediate action. And when you do, you are going straight towards victory. So don't ignore the red flags. The red flags that you ignore in the beginning of the relationship will always come full circle and be the reason why something didn't last. And so maybe you've been dealing with the Knight of Wands, right? The last card out, we get the Five of Wands. Lots of fire, lots of fire. And so there is a conflict here. I feel there's a conflict here with no resolution in sight. And so you got to choose to walk away. If you want victory, you got to choose to walk away. And so there is a queen here that I feel needs to focus on career and needs to focus on some heart healing. And so that's the truth. That's the truth coming to light. And sometimes the truth is very hard to hear, but I feel the truth that's coming to light is saying this is a separation. It's time to walk away from an unhealthy power and control dynamic. And maybe you feel like you are absolutely in love with this person, but something has become unhealthy. And in order to go towards the love that you do deserve, you're going to have to make an exchange. You're going to have to give up on somebody that maybe you've tried to control and hold on to very tightly. And so with the Three of Swords reversed and this connected to the Four of Swords upright, there is an Ace of Swords here. And so, and then we've got the conscious release of acknowledging what needs to be healed, connected to a pattern, right? The wounded healer. And so do not lose your peace of mind trying to control a situation. I know you can drive yourself crazy trying to control an outcome, and ultimately we aren't in control. There is a higher power in control at all times. So be aware of your own actions. Be aware of other people's actions at this time, because endings do come with a lot of great sadness, but it also comes with a lot of personal growth when we embrace the heart healing challenges. And so I do feel there's a misunderstanding here that cannot be healed together. It needs to be healed separately. And so allow these new insights that you've been gaining to bring forward a new sense of making that decision. There's a need to make a decision here. There's a need to protect yourself, I feel, as well. And so I feel like just an embarrassing truth is coming to light, and you might feel like you're under public judgment, but this is really leading you towards a new plan for the future. So what's the Seven of Pentacles? Because this is where you're going. You're planting a seed for something new. We had a flyer, so we'll see. Look at, you're breaking free. So the Eight of Swords is actually the Devil card in the lower arcana. And so you're never trapped. You're never stuck anywhere. That's an old belief. This is letting go of an old belief. The Eight of Swords in reverse is saying, find your confidence to walk through the doorway of a new experience. And so this is about taking full on responsibility for your life. We get the Hermit in reversed, and we get the King of Coins. And so maybe there is a need to spend some time alone. The Hermit in reversed is saying there's resistance to re-identifying with yourself. We get the King of Coins out, and then what flipped over here in this pile with the Queen of Swords, the Lovers reversed, this is saying step into your worth, step into your value. And that is when you will have this perfect match come forward. And so we are entering a time of divine unions. But first we have to walk away from what is not serving us. And so this could also be the balancing of the inner masculine and inner feminine energy. And so everything will always turn out beautifully. Everything, I find, it's always been true for me, everything always works out in the end. Might not feel like it when you're in the throes of something very challenging. Everything always works out in the end. And so there's a need to take a sensible approach because there's that Tower. So collectively, we are in a significant portal of change. Our lives are changing. There's powerful, unexpected revelations as part of this massive global awakening taking place. And so how can you break free from an old belief system? Because whether you're ready or not, the wind feels like it's getting knocked out of somebody here. And then we get a divine masculine. So this is about restructuring your life, taking charge of your life, and you can be a feminine or a masculine. This is about accepting that leadership role, but first you have to be the leader in your own life. So what are we going to close this reading off with? We'll get some spiritual journey oracle messages. Paradigm shift. There is a major paradigm shift here, especially when it comes to letting go of these old ineffective beliefs and patterns, because ultimately we do get to decide what is next. We are in control of our lives. That's about the only thing we are in control of. We can't control what goes on around us, but we can control our reactions, right? So what is the closing message? I just want to say, like, what are you passionate about? What is it that you're really passionate about from a healthy standpoint? Oh my goodness, we got the reconciliation card. And so there could be a reunion with a counterpart on the horizon, and that won't be for everybody. But what is it that you need to let go of first in order for this reconciliation? Because there is major life changes ahead. And this is all about making choices in your life for the betterment of yourself and everybody you're connected with. And so until we awaken, life happens to us. And once we awaken, life happens for us. And so allow the universe to do its job, because there is some type of reconciliation here. And this is going to be a gift for doing the work when it comes to embracing your soul's evolution. That's kind of what I see going on here. So guys, I hope this helped. I hope this resonated. If you would like to go any further with a personal reading, please feel free to check out that description box below, guys. And I do look forward to seeing you all again next time. Thank you.